My name is Will Jennings, and I am an assistant project manager with K5 Construction Corporation. I would like to thank the board for giving me this time slot today to speak to the community about the proposed pedestrian bike pathway connecting the towns of Porter and Chesterton, Indiana. A quick overview of the existing conditions of these two trails I will be speaking about today. There are two trails in each respective town of Chesterton and Porter. In the town of Porter, there is the Porter Brickyard Trail, and in the town of Chesterton, there is the Prairie Duneland Trail. These two trails are very large trails that attract a lot of traffic in both of these respective towns. And currently, there is no connection between these trails, even though they are only 2 miles apart. Hence, there is a new proposition to create a binding trail between these two trails to connect them. So today I'll be striving to gather support and community feedback into making this proposed connection of these two trails a reality. So some topics I will be covering today are, first, I will be going over a needs assessment of this new connecting trail. Secondly, once the needs have been established of this trail, I will go through and address some possible and the final proposed solution for this connecting route. Once this proposed solution is established, I will go over the actual proposed trail alignment or the route that it will follow between the towns of Porter and Chesterton. And then I will cover the necessary costs and how to implement this new connection between these trails. And then I will finish up with a quick conclusion and an opportunity for anyone at this meeting to ask me any questions that they may have. So going through a needs assessment here based on why would we need a connection trail to bind the Porter Brickyard Trail and the Prairie Duneland Trailhead in the towns of Porter and Chesterton. Currently, between Chesterton and Porter, there are sidewalks and roads connecting these two cities. But these two pathways are exclusive. There are only sidewalks and only roads. The sidewalks connecting these two towns are normal sidewalks that they are only 5 foot wide, so they can only accommodate legally pedestrians, walking pedestrians. And then there are 2-lane roads also connecting these communities. So right now, if current bike riders want to traverse from either the Porter Brickyard Trail to the Prairie Duneland Trail or vice versa, either one, they have to bike on local roads with local car traffic to and from each trail, or they have to get off their bikes and load them in the car and then traverse to the next trail via car. Given that these trails are only 2 miles apart, this is unsafe and not necessary for bike riders, either one, to have to make the choice to ride along with local car traffic and put both entities at risk, or two, have to pick up their bike for only a 2-mile ride and put it away in the car and travel to the next trail. Both of these trails not only are used by local residents, but they attract people from communities at large, from all over the state. And so currently this is a missed opportunity because the Prairie Duneland Trail in Chesterton does not traverse through downtown Chesterton at all. It only traverses through local and residential parts of Chesterton, which is a missed opportunity to get more people, not only local residents, but outside business into downtown Chesterton to promote local businesses. So now that we've covered some possible needs and issues with the current conditions of the trails in Porter and Chesterton, there are 2 proposed solutions I have prepared. There are always other ways to take this, but these are the 2 most feasible current solutions. First, an entire new bike path can be built between these trails through downtown Chesterton and Porter to eliminate the safety hazards of bikes traversing through local traffic, and also bringing these pedestrians through downtown Chesterton to promote local business. The problem with this proposition is that to build a new trail that does not currently exist, land would need to be bought to put this path on. And so land is one of the single most expensive entities or commodities. And then not only once this land is purchased, then the bike path itself would need to be constructed. The construction of bike paths is most commonly made of asphalt, blacktop, many different names for it. But this is an expensive material, and in conjunction with having to buy the land and construct this new path all the way the 2 miles between Porter and Chesterton would be an expensive endeavor. So given this expense and this amount of work, a secondary proposed solution would be to utilize existing roads between these two communities, Porter and Chester, that can be repurposed to accommodate a bike-only lane to transport bike riders from these two trails and through downtown Chesterton. The pro to this is that it only requires the restriping of the roads along whatever route is chosen, along with new signage. This is a greatly reduced cost and a much smaller scope to achieve the same goal, and therefore this is the solution we are proposing, to utilize existing roads via restriping them to provide a bike-only lane to traverse between these two trails. So given that we have chose this path, this proposed solution to restripe these roads, on the PowerPoint, you can see I have provided a map with a green outline of the route that K5 proposes for this new bike path. The route connects both the southmost point of the Porter Brickyard Trail, just north of I-20, all the way to the northernmost point of the Prairie Duneland Trailhead in northern Chesterton. This proposed path that I have in front of us is about 2 miles long, and there are no intersections in which any new pavement would need to be constructed. Over I-20, there is already currently an existing pedestrian bridge that eliminates any possible hazards in terms of pedestrians crossing a major highway. And I-94 already has a bridge in which the bike path can follow under. So then along this route, the proposed solution would be just to stripe a bike-only lane all along this route, especially following into downtown Chesterton, to where local riders will then be introduced to local businesses in downtown Chesterton, possibly bringing in more revenue and business. So the cost to implement this path would be based upon a few factors. The entire length of the green path that I just showed you is approximately 1.9 miles long. So in total, this cost of the project will be approximately $4,500. To break apart some of those costs, the primary cost is thermoplastic paint, or the striping that will be used for the single bike lane. Currently, thermoplastic paint installed costs about a quarter per foot, or 25 cents per foot. And over 2 miles, that would lead to approximately $2,500 in cost of material and labor to install the striping. With the additional signage and reflectors required to distribute traffic along this new route, the total estimated cost of the path would sum to the total $4,500 that I previously mentioned. The benefit of this path being on local roads and not on a path off of the mainline roads is that since it is on public roads, these funds can be pulled from the MFT fund. MFT is the local motor fuel tax on gas, from the Chesterton fund to cover the cost of installation. Therefore, these costs are already implemented into local gas prices, and there will not have to be any tax hikes on local Chesterton citizens' bills to fund this pathway. And another benefit of the bike path being on local roads is that future maintenance can be performed whenever these roads are maintained. Most of the time, whenever a road is maintained, it gets restriped. So in the future, the bike path will also get restriped whenever these roads are maintained. So to conclude, the Porter Chesterton pedestrian pathway has been proposed today to address the current lack of safe means to connect Porter and Chesterton pedestrian bike trails. This path would attract more safe traffic to these local trails, and therefore, by routing through downtown Chesterton, promote local business revenues. The cost of the trail is relatively low at $4,500 due to the use of already existing streets and infrastructure. Being a public roadway project, the Village of Chesterton may use motor fuel tax funds to pay for this improvement, leading to the local citizens of Chesterton not having to fork any new costs to perform this improvement, leading to better local Chesterton offerings to the public at relatively low cost, overall improving morale and the attractiveness of downtown Chesterton and revitalizing the downtown of Chesterton. So at this time, I'd like to offer up a forum for any questions that anyone may have about this path. And I will also leave my contact info here on the last page of this PowerPoint in case anyone would like to write this down. And please feel free to call me or email me at any of the below contact information regarding this, as I would love to discuss any further questions anyone may have and possibly look into talking more about this in the future. So thank you all for listening to me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.